Oh, but today we're talking about Strange Days, the 1995 film by Kathryn Bigelow. A lot of people say that it absolutely bombed at the, box office, which it did. But I mean, a lot of sci-fi does, and the fact that afterward people claim that she had such a hard time getting movies made, which is not really true. But anyway. So, yeah, today I want to talk about why I think Kathryn Bigelow sucked and was evil even before she started being a state propagandist, allegedly. I would need more proof to claim this. Also, I don't think I could really prove this, but you know what movies gets her hard. Anyway. Okay. So, a lot of people talk about how this movie is great. Technically, it talks so much about voyeurism, but it's not really groundbreaking to me. I can think of a better movie like Peeping Tom.
Anna Massey is the girl who falls victim to the charms of a lonely stranger upstairs.
Cut it off, Mark. Mark, so put that camera away.
There is no future for anyone who tries to befriend him. He invades the privacy of innocent people till the piercing eyes of his...
Which, actually got Michael Powell to, make it really hard for him to make movies again. Unlike Kathryn Bigelow, yes, she... it was a flop at the box office, but she had connections. She, was able to make films again right away. She's basically now like a State Department film director, allegedly. I don't really know. Is there a difference? Okay, so the squid technology was there before the police element came. So James Cameron had this concept of an idea about 2 years ago, not about 2 years ago, sorry, in the 80s, where about two people falling in love before the millennium, and he thought about squid technology, which is a real thing, but we're not really going to get into it. I mean, maybe as a bonus episode on the Patreon if you want. It will be a free bonus episode. Anyway. So, yeah. And then the Rodney King beating happened, and it tickled Kathryn brains like 9/11 and race riots and other things tickle her brain in the most wonderful way. So the thing is that because of the Rodney King riots, they decided to add an element of police brutality, because that's what the Rodney King riot was all about. This black man was pulled over by the California Highway Patrol, I believe, and then actually, and they pull him over and they brutalize him. Then it went to court. All of them were acquitted, and this uprising happened. And I think, I'm going to explain later why I think it's kind of insidious that Kathryn Bigelow then tied this to the Rodney King riots. I'm not kidding. I know people hate her more for her newer movies, but when I talk about Kathryn Bigelow making movies about riots, they're like, oh my god, are you talking about Detroit? I'm like, no, and I don't think I could watch it without my brain exploding. But a famous musician is murdered by the police. And these are two psychotic killers, and, there is video proof of it. And, I guess they gotta show it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll get back to that. Okay, this is Kathryn Bigelow. A quote from, she was quoted in Strange Days, Prose Import of Vicarious Living Christian Science Matter, David Serrett, November 1995. I wanted to treat the system fairly, she says, because if it's the enemy, then we're the enemy, since by not changing it, we're reproducing it. The film ends in a strong insistence on hope. Ultimately, it is humanity, not technology, that take us into the next century and the next millennium. Interesting, because in the movie, the system does fail. There's a scene where Mace is about to give the video proof to like the captain, who's such a tired ass that blah blah blah. He's like the good cop, and he almost has her arrested, and the police beats her, all of them, except the crowd intervenes, and that would have been a great place to end. But the way that the story was saved and Mace was saved was because two good guys overcame the rotten two bad cops. That's right. The old, police chief, whatever you want to call him, and Lenny, the ex-cop, no, sleazebag, whatever. They saved it. But the system was rotten. All the police officers were willing to kill that woman. What if we are the enemy? If the system is damaged, isn't the most hopeful thing to try and fight for a new one? For context, the 1992 LA riots were sparked by the acquittal of 4 policemen who were videotaped beating up Rodney King, a black man. He was stopped by California Highway Patrol, and he had stopped by then, but for whatever reason, they thought they needed to brutalize him. They dragged him out and brutalized him, and it was film. And honestly, a better documentation of the Rodney King riots, because it can be very contentious from a fictional point of view, from a historical point of view, from a documentary point of view. I personally love LA 92. I'll link it below, or if I don't, please yell at me to do so. In reality, when the system did fail King, that would make it seem like it was just these two bad cops and Mace is saved by Lenny, ex-cop, and the commissioner, that's the word, commissioner, who, before was like, get out of here before I arrest you. Bigelow choreographed Mace being beaten by the entire LAPD, who was only lucky because the crowd was around. Also, the most evil character, an ex-cop, and disable ex-cop, by the way, Bigelow. I see cruising in you. Probably the most developed character, because of her amazing performance, but the story doesn't treat her well, is Mace. Mace is ride and die for Lenny. Even though he treats everyone around her so much better, like everyone, Faith, his creepy, former cup buddy, other people, clients. He's just mooching off Mace. And why does Mace allow this? She's tough, she's capable, she could be doing better, she's so hot. It's because Lenny busted her husband for dealing drugs, and she was really mad at her husband for dealing drugs, and while he was dealing drugs, Lenny decided to, comfort her kid, even though he was the one who was arresting her husband. And then Lenny, starts peddling, experiences. I don't know. There's this good technology is never super advanced, it really doesn't do much for this idea of that could be so prescient as people say, but I don't think this movie is prescient at all. So prescient that like an experience bot. Like talking about vicarious living is, we have AI, we have things they can enter. You can just be stuck in your perfect little loop world for the entire. But no, it's not like that because the squid is meant to work as a body cam, really. Oh, and Lenny finally gives up on Faith after discovering that she's with Max. Though she feels bad at the last minute. I don't know. It is. I did watch one battle after another, and I will say Billy Wilder is great at revolutionaries who film. It's not easy. I think there's not really a lot of substance here, but that's really hard everywhere, so I will not particularly put Bigelow down for this one. But I mean, Jericho has no substance, Dent, whatever, which is like, it's like, it's a techno noir, a neo noir, Faith is the nightclub singer, Lenny is the cop or dick or private detective. Is Mace's Girl Friday? I don't know. And Gantus is like the evil older man who's keeping her or something like that. So in that sense, it is very, I think it does fit the noir genre well, at least formally. The insult, here's, everyone talks about how this movie is so cool and amazing. Maybe I'd be more willing to forgive this movie if it wasn't so boring, if it didn't set up everything just for it to fall. I don't get it. I don't. I feel gaslit. I love cyberpunk. I love sci-fi. I watch a lot of the 90s like sci-fi. It's like, Dark City. The Matrix, obviously. Blade Runner. Just a lot. Though, I do take offense to the idea that this is cyberpunk because the technology is not ubiquitous. It doesn't seem to be affecting life on a larger scale. It just reads like a shallow reading of cyberpunk, which is just like high tech, low life. We see a lot of the low life, but not a lot of the high tech. Delusional, because everyone loves this movie, think it's cool, or pre 9/11 Bigelow. It's vaguely cyberpunk tech noir, whatever. Lenny's a scumbag selling squid, which we don't really know anything about. I read the script and the scriptment thing by James Cameron, who, his new Avatar movie's out, and he's talking about like, I was really bummed out. He's like, I don't know how to write, and he's like, oh, How to Write Things by James Cameron, which is really funny. That I never want to read anything written by James Cameron again. Not for anything cancelable. I mean, I'm sure there is, but no, I just don't read this. Don't read the screenplay too. Strange Days, if you actually like this movie. Renegade Cut, who is a great, probably one of my favorite YouTubers, and especially in, videos and stuff like that. And he made a video, and I'll link there, and he's very good at kind of like looking and rationalizing and media through sort of like a leftist perspective. And his video actually has made me realize why the squid fails to live to its potential. Because it's treated more like body cam footage. We get bleeps of hedonism, experienced machine, but it is so shallow that it fails to make a mark. In my opinion, squid is the body cam. If it records something so blatant, obviously the people will want to change, right? Or change will occur. But in 2026, 30 years after the movie, we know it isn't true. The video of Rodney King Jr. being brutalized and everyone was acquitted. That's why the squid technology feels so incredibly without death. There's nothing spectacular. Not in the way the film could have used it. Like, if this film had played its cards right, it could resonate so much with things like AI, deepfakes, or simulation experience machines. But it fails because it's just a buddy cam trying to justify our current police brutality. But I have some words. I think the performances are great. You know, Mace, Lenny, Max, Faith are all great. I love that it was titled after a Strange Days song, and that it actually created a great song right here, right now by Fatboy Slim. But I think there are better movies about surveillance, experience, voyeurism, vicarious living. So maybe Kathryn Bigelow has always been evil.